There are many reasons your clothes could potentially look cheap. Today, I want to go into those reasons and point those out because maybe you haven't really noticed it, but subconsciously you know that your clothing looks cheap, but you don't really know why. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to go into how you can still wear some of these looks that look cheap, but if you pair it up in the right way, you can make it work. So let's hop into it. The worn look has been popular for many years, but this can easily look cheap. And the reason for that is because it is the worn look, something that is worn out. So there could be multiple reasons for why this became a trend in the first place. Buying something that looks distressed and that looks worn, that is actually old. But if you do it in the right way, you can potentially still get away with this. So this will include anything with fading, rips, any type of distressing. And the problem is if you wash some of these clothing, it will potentially and very quickly become even more worn or even more distressed because that hole will just go bigger. So if you want to wash some of this clothing and you actually want to continue buying it, I really suggest putting it into a washing bag so it doesn't hook onto other things while in the washing machine. Overall, this is not my favorite look, but towards the end of this video, I will go into how even a person like myself can get away with it and pair it up in a way that makes me feel more comfortable. The second reason why your clothing can look cheap is because it's too big for you. This is a trend, of course, and it's been a trend for many years. It kind of comes and goes as time goes by. From a design point of view, this is great because the oversized look gives a designer the opportunity to design something and have fewer sizes because you can fit more bodies into it. From a consumer's point of view, people like it because they are not restricted and they feel they can hide away inside of it. But ill-fitting clothing can easily seem cheap because it's not meant for you. It's not meant for your body and it doesn't fit your body perfectly. Faded colors can easily make your clothing look cheap and old. It looks like something that's been through the wash plenty of times. The shirt or the blouse that I'm wearing today is a really good example of that. If you want your clothing to present much more luxurious and expensive, rather go for colors and for clothing pieces with vibrant colors and where the color looks intentional and not faded out. Embellishments or any type of hardware can make your clothing and your accessories look tatty. Overkilling it with hardware definitely seems like you are trying too hard and therefore looks cheap. So if you go too far into an extreme, it will actually take away from what you are trying to accomplish. Another problem with embellishments and hardware is that it very easily shows wear and tear. This also goes for buttons that look cheap, zippers that's painted that actually tarnishes over time, or the paint peels off, or any loud design for that matter. And then lastly, faux items. That is where you go into fake silk, fake fur, or fake leather. All three mentioned are of course very expensive raw materials, and therefore you will find a lot of fakes on the market, or if you are intentionally buying something that is not of the original raw material, it can very easily look cheap. So let's go into how you can combat this. I'm going to start from the top again and work my way down. With the worn look, first of all, I would go for minimal distressing. So not have an entire jacket with loads of patchwork and faded colors and stitch work and so forth. Rather go for something where there's only a little bit of detailing with distressing. And then secondly, I would definitely recommend pairing it up with something that's the opposite. So rather go for a tailored shirt or pair it with a jet black jacket. So instead of going for a faded jacket paired up with a faded denim, this is going to be too much, and rather work with that juxtaposition and pair it up with something that is way the opposite. Then if you want to wear something bigger, oversized, I would go and at least choose a few places within your body where you can cinch things in. So if you're going for a, say, wide-legged pants and a bigger top, go and accentuate that waist with a belt, or make sure that the pants got a natural cinched in waist. Or if you're wearing, say, a large oversized flowy top, pair it up with a pair of leggings or tighter fitting pants. Faded colors. So if you want to wear a blouse like I'm wearing today, I try and combat this by pairing it with, again, jet black pants, and I also add a bit of color around my shoulders with this cardigan that I have on. If I take this off, you'll see I look quite washed out, and it doesn't really tell the story that I want it to tell. So if you're wearing faded colors, make sure first of all it is intentional and that it is not washed out, and make sure you pair it up with something that looks intentional. For example, again, this cardigan does have the same colors, and it picks up the colors in the blouse and brings that forward. Even though this is still going to be faded, it helps out balance all of those colors together. The embellishments, I would say keep it to a minimum. Rather go in with jewelry pieces and something of a higher quality, and don't go for too much embellishments on your clothing pieces. It will just fade very easily. It won't be very easy to wash it and maintain that look, even if it was well done in the first place. And then the faux items, this even goes for real leather that can sometimes be almost too shiny and too overwhelming. And this is going to be the most difficult one out of everything. I would rather say go for the real deal, and rather save up in order to buy that. And if you are vegan and you don't want to support that industry, I would again say do a lot of research and buy something of the highest quality you can afford that is an alternative to these products. Did I miss anything? Please let me know down below. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you next week. Bye.